Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the It's Hard to Explain podcast. We are doing another Yappetizer because me, Ethan, and Jake went and saw Terrifier 3. Dun.
That was a whole experience in itself.
Yeah, before we get started, though, we're going to spoil this movie and probably a little bit of Terrifier 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen those movies, don't watch. But if you don't care, continue.
It's going to be very spoiler heavy. Adam's not here because he doesn't watch any form of media other than YouTube. So it's just going to be the three of us talking about this movie. And my God, there's a lot to unpack.
If you don't have if you get queasy easy over like gore and stuff, I would not recommend listening to this because this is I feel like I have a pretty iron. Yeah, I think I have a steel stomach with most gore, but these movies, they are something else.
It pushed the limits. This was the first Terrifier movie I saw.
Yeah, Ethan hasn't seen 1 or 2.
You started out with the worst one in terms of gore.
And it was the worst one?
That's debatable.
I'd say it's tieable with 2. It's bad, but 2 is also really bad.
Kaegan and I saw the second one in theaters like 2 years ago when it came out with our buddy Alston. And then I think we saw the first one just on like a streaming service or something.
I think it was on like Netflix or something.
At your mom's house or something? Yeah, I remember.
And I remember watching that one, and I was very uneasy just by watching that one.
Yep.
When we went and saw the second one, dude, I was scared to go to sleep. I was like paranoid.
I mean, when I got home, I did a quick sweep of my house just to be safe.
So, for those who don't know what Terrifier is, because I've asked a couple coworkers and they had no idea what this is, it's a horror slasher about a clown named Art, and he's very like, what kind of clown would you compare him to?
A mime.
Yeah, he looks more like a mime than like a mime clown.
He's French,
but. And he doesn't speak. He's completely mute. But his entire thing is he just kills people. There's no motive behind it. He's just evil.
And I think these movies are just for like, especially the first one, are just for shock value. Like, how far can we go with this?
Yeah.
I think the director's name is Damien Leone.
Leone, yeah. And then Art is played by David Howard Thornton.
And another thing that's really cool is that all the effects are practical too. I don't think there's CGI, and if there is, it's very little. So like,
I don't think there's a whole lot of CGI. The CGI I think there is like when they do like the demonic possession shit, because
the glowing eyes and all that.
If y'all didn't know, Art is also a demon. Like it doesn't outright say it, but it's very heavily hinted at that he is not normal.
He's probably like a lesser demon, like kind of like a pet almost.
So there was before Terrifier 1, there was a bunch of short films that came out with Art in them.
All Hallows Eve.
And in that one, I don't think he was played by David Howard Thornton.
No.
But it was like the first introduction to Art, and you kind of got like but it was weird because the way it was shot, it was like a lady is babysitting kids and she gets this VHS tape and she puts it in the TV, and it's just a bunch of clips of Art like chasing a woman around, like terrorizing her. Mm-hmm. And then later Art like comes, I forget if he comes through the TV because I haven't seen it. I've just seen a review of it. He comes through the TV and starts chasing her around. And then it was like a short they played at like a film festival, and it was very highly received to the point where I think got enough funding that they were able to make the first one.
We also, what was I going to say? What was I going to say, Kaegan?
I don't know.
The first movie, I'm pretty sure it was like, and I think all the Terrifier movies are indie movies, but the first movie didn't have a big budget, and then the second movie had like a Kickstarter, and it like exceeded its goal, and then Terrifier 2 was made, and then it made 60 times its budget, so it did really well.
The first one has like a total of like 10 people in it. That is like it.
And these movies don't have a lot of people in the cast anyways. They have a very small cast, which I think is good.
As they've gotten bigger in like, background actors, but I think in the first one there's literally just like 10 people in total.
Or less, yeah.
There's not a lot. But
so before we get into it, what do you give that? What do you give Terrifier 3 out of 10?
Like in just
Just how well did you like it? Just in general, how well did you like it as a movie?
I'd like. Are we comparing it to the other ones?
Sure.
I'd give it like a 8.5.
Yeah, I'd say about that. Just because I like the whole aspect of fighting demons and stuff like that.
Okay. So you like the
Religious
you like the
imagery
vibe. Okay.
and all that, yeah.
I think I'd give it on its own a 7 out of 10.
A 7?
That's
A
fair.
7 out of 10. And I think I'm going to say that the second one is my favorite.
The second
so
one
far.
is, in my opinion, is probably the best.
It's very, I like it a lot.
I don't know if I want to watch it.
Yeah, it's
Ooh.
okay, I want to get into this later, but there's a scene in the second movie that is probably the worst scene that I have ever seen in a horror movie in terms of gore and just brutality.
Yeah.
And I want to get into that later. And there's a scene in this movie, Terrifier 3, that I think rivals that scene.
It's so just the scene in the second one is just so hateful
The-
and mean,
yeah,
and it's
and
just like overkill.
Art as a horror icon he's very spiteful. He's very mean. He's just like he's
An
an
ass- he's a
asshole.
dickhead.
Yeah, he's just a douche. So in the first movie, there's not really a plot. You get that more so in the second movie, and then that plot carries over into the third movie.
In the plot of the first one, it's like these two girls are coming back from a Halloween party, and I think they're walking to their car and their tires are flat. Was that what it was?
It's either that or they get drunk or something, and then
I think the tires were flat, and I think Art slashed the tires, but the tires are flat, so they go into like this pizza restaurant and are just chilling there, and then Art comes in, and he starts making them very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So they leave, and Art stays behind. He goes to the bathroom, and then he comes out, and a dude goes in and checks on it, and there's just shit all over the wall that spells out his name, Art's name, and all that. And they start berating him and like attacking him, and then it cuts away, and then it cuts back. And the people in the pizza place are dead. Like he turned one of their heads into a jack-o'-lantern, I think.
That sounds right.
And then he starts chasing the girls, and it leads him to like this abandoned warehouse where
his base of operations.
his base of operations. It's not the same one.
That's
that
where
we see
most
in
of the
3.
movie takes place, though, is that warehouse in the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Art gives me sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows vibes.
He does.
Sunshine.
if you watch the second one,
rainbows.
if you
So the first movie is very much about like
Art,
establishing Art as a character and just seeing
Yeah.
what he does as a killer and his methods and creativity in killing. But
Yeah.
then the second movie, so if the first movie is like a proof of concept, the second movie is like, okay, we're going to get into an actual story.
which the story's fine. I thought it was a little goofy towards the end
Again, you don't go into these movies for story. At least I don't,
Yeah.
anyways. You go in for the shock factor.
because it's the second one stars Sienna, who is a girl who lives with her mother and her brother, and her dad was like some artist.
he's a comic book artist.
A comic book artist, and I think they don't say what he got sick with. They just said he got ill. I think it might have been schizophrenia.
Yeah.
But he started going crazy, and he started drawing. He started having hallucinations about Art and this like Valkyrie character he drew, and like how
For Sienna. You saw that in the third movie.
how like that character can beat anyone, and she pulled a samurai jack. Her sword can't harm her.
So in the second movie, I did not think that they would go the supernatural route. Like, I didn't think that the final girl would get like a fantasy weapon that could literally like samurai jack
MacGuffin.
sword that can't be destroyed and can kill all evil. I didn't think they would do that, but they did it, and it is what it is. I like it. I've come to enjoy it, but at first I was like,
What the
that's
fuck
like
is this?
like that's out of left field. What the hell?
Because
But,
it really builds up to that point towards the end. It doesn't really do a good job building up to it, or at least I felt it didn't do a good job building up to it towards the end. It was just kind of like it happened.
It just was like thrown in.
And also, the second movie is very long. The third movie is 2 hours and 5 minutes, but I think the second movie is like 2 hours and like 30 minutes or something. It's a long movie.
I wouldn't say it drags on, but it is very long.
No, I have heard that like the final act does drag a little bit, and I could see that because they have the fight scene. Sienna falls through the floor, and then she comes back, and then they have the fight scene.
Yeah.
But we're not trying to get into the first and second. We're just trying to lay some ground for those of you that don't know. So in the third movie,
It takes place like 5 years later.
it picks up where the second one left off.
With it follows Sienna and her brother, and they're like trying to kind of move past
The events of the
second one
Yep.
5 years later. Sienna's been in and out of like mental hospitals, and Jonathan, her brother, has been in college.
Yeah.
And they go the podcast route with this one character named Mia, who is like, I run a creepy podcast, and I would love to get you on, and I like this podcast. I love doing this, but I felt secondhand embarrassment because of that. I was like, oh.
How original.
Yeah,
how
'cause I was
original.
talking to Kaegan and Ethan the other day that like a lot of modern horror movies like to go that route where they mention a podcast, and especially like in Halloween 2018 where you had those reporters that had a podcast. They wanted to interview
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers, and they went to the penitentiary that he was in, and the insane asylum, whatever, and then tried to get him to talk. And whenever it's mentioned like that in horror movies or movies in general, it's normally made out to be a joke, like podcasts.
It's
are
like,
a joke.
I get it.
I get it, yeah.
Podcasts are
Fine.
overused.
Right.
But
I understand.
I'm allowed to do what I want.
Yeah.
So I like doing this podcast. But this girl Mia is really adamant on getting Jonathan or Sienna to be on the podcast to talk about the Miles County clown, who's Art. And she thinks it's like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's been 5 years. They're over it. They aren't over it. They're
She's very insensitive, and she's being a bitch about it.
I think
so.
But she was hot.
She was very hot. Jesus Christ. Dude, I'm not sorry for what I'm saying, but she had a banging body.
She
dude.
was.
that was the point.
She had a long face, but she had a banging body.
Yeah.
She had a long head, like diagonally. It was
Whatever
long.
you say, Mom.
And this movie, the second movie takes place during Halloween, and this movie takes place during Christmas. So I don't know if the final act of the movie takes place on Christmas Day or if the opening takes place on Christmas Day. I don't know if that was ever established.
So
It's Christmas time.
No, it's like a few days before Christmas Day,
the last scene, like the last act, was that.
I think.
I think it was the night of Christmas. It made sense to me because I'm about to get into spoilers now about like the end of the movie, but this was also jarring to me whenever I first watched it. But whenever Sienna goes to sleep and then she wakes up and then Art is in her house, I thought it was a dream sequence
did
at first
too.
because you don't see
What happens in
You don't see what
between.
happens in between. You don't see the uncle going to pick up Jonathan.
Yeah.
You don't get that. So to me, it was like, oh, it's like Christmas morning. You walk downstairs and you get this fucking hellscape.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well,
it
but-
made sense.
but the uncle did try to go pick up Jonathan. Remember,
Right,
He
but
was
it
out-
didn't
But you
show
didn't see
what
him
happened.
pick
You
up
just saw him
Jonathan.
dead.
Yeah,
In the
He
house.
gets the phone call and he calls him, and it's Vicky, which I think we should mention. Vicky
Mm-hmm.
is the final girl from the first one, who Art eats her face, and then she becomes like possessed.
So the way that they did it in this movie is you find out that Art doesn't talk. He's a demon that doesn't talk, but he has to have a conduit which he talks through. So Vicky, we do hear Art talk through Vicky in this movie, which I thought was really cool.
Wait, I thought it was the other way around.
What?
Like Vicky.
No,
Art
Art
was the
needs-
conduit, and Vicky was the
Art
Well,
demon. Like
so
she was.
no, Vicky's kind of like his anchor.
Yes,
So like
so-
as long as she's alive, he won't die.
And
because
what-
they're kind of bound together.
What Art is trying to do is get Sienna to be his conduit for
His
whatever
new
reason.
his new conduit.
I don't really understand why yet.
Maybe they'll go into that in 4.
I'm
when they-
guessing it's because of the trauma. Like if he wants the most traumatized person or something. It
It
doesn't make
is
sense.
said that like dark forces do feed on trauma,
But also-
and
Yeah,
negativity
But
and all that.
I thought it was really cool. I liked that point in the movie. That's something that I really did enjoy, was that Art can talk just through somebody else. And you really get to see how demented he is verbally.
He is psychotic.
And I enjoyed it. We don't know who Art is, though. Like, we don't know what type of demon he is, I don't think. I don't know if he's a specific demon.
I don't think it's ever said. It's just I don't know if it outright says he's a demon, but I think it's very heavily implied that he is.
Yeah.
He's definitely French.
But no, he's such a dick.
Yeah.
It was funny. Sienna was tied up. He'd just come behind her and smack her on the head. And just
For
Twice.
no
That happened
reason.
twice, right? Just
yeah, he just. I mean, she did kill him, so he was kind of pissed off about that. But it's like, dog, you come back to life. Why are you mad?
So I guess before we get into the kills, which is like
Oh my
the
God.
main thing of these movies, what did you not like plot wise about the movie?
I don't like that they killed Jonathan off screen.
Yeah.
That I didn't like that either because he was such
very
a
rushed.
big part. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I was talking to Ethan about earlier. Is you don't see the in between.
Yeah.
Like it's like what? Why didn't we get to see that? I don't
You
understand.
hear on the phone call like he's possessed or something. Like it was
That was Vicky.
that was
Vicky
Vicky.
mimicking
That was
him.
Vicky.
Yeah.
But like
you
it
don't
never shows,
see it happen.
It never shows Vicky go there or like chase him. It doesn't. If there was at least some sort of like chase sequence with Jonathan running away from Vicky or something, but it doesn't show that. He just kind of falls asleep in his bed, and then his uncle calls him, and he says okay, and then it cuts, and then later the uncle goes and picks him up, and it's Vicky imitating him. It's like, are we just not going to see how that happened? The only reason we know he's dead is because there's a skull with rats eating the flesh off of it, and they put the glasses on it, and it's like, I don't like how that ended.
Ethan, did you not like anything about the plot of the movie?
I didn't really much pay attention to the plot. I
That's
was
fair.
Too busy
That's fair.
Focusing on the immense gore.
That's fair. Something else that I wasn't a big fan of was the music. The music in the second movie is fucking awesome. It's like synth music. It's great. It's
I
like
didn't pay attention to
retro
the music.
synth.
But in this movie, the soundtrack does not go as
It was
well.
very Christmassy, but
Yeah, which made sense.
I
but
will
like,
say this: I don't want to say this is spreading hate to the actor, but I did not like Jonathan as a character. I don't like his actor.
He's a child actor.
I don't like his actor. His actor has a really annoying
Awkward,
voice.
angsty.
I guess is the best way I can say it without like sounding mean. He just doesn't have a. He didn't feel like he was in college.
No, he did not.
Like he still
No, he did
because
not.
they still call their dad daddy, and
Yeah, in
he
the
called
second one.
in the second one he called his mom
Yeah.
mommy, and I was like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Sometimes they use those
What
words
are
just
you
to
doing?
drive that point home, like, oh, the situation's dire. He's just a kid. He's just a boy, you know.
But even then, it doesn't feel like they've. It's supposed to be 5 years.
It does not feel that way.
But it does not
I
feel.
mean, maybe
that
for
way.
Sienna, but like for Jonathan, no.
No, it looks the same. He
But
may
maybe
be a
it
little
was it was like the first semester of college or something.
maybe
don't
because he may be a little bit taller, but that was really about it. His
He's
voice,
already a tall kid, though.
his voice sounded the same. It was just kind of whiny and like,
Yeah.
"Hey, daddy,
Yeah.
yeah."
I will say I think Sienna is one of my favorite final girls of horror now.
She's also hot. But,
Honestly, I
she is
was
good
getting like a Wonder Woman vibe from her.
That's very much what was the character's name that her dad drew?
I don't think it ever had a name.
Okay, but I
Or-
think it was inspired by Wonder Woman.
It was I got kind of like a Valkyrie vibe from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Valkyrie Wonder Woman esque like Amazonian kind of vibe.
Nubia
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. Siena's she's so hot. God, I'm sorry. She's very.
I was gonna
attract-
say she's pretty.
She's very
Yeah.
attractive.
She is, I will say.
And I think she's a pretty good actor.
I would
in
say
terms
so,
of
too.
being like scared, like whenever she's scared,
And
Yes.
intense.
Yeah.
You actually-
intense action scenes when
Yeah.
she's screaming.
especially in the second one. In the second one, she's in a Halloween store, and Art is like there too.
Oh.
And he doesn't try to kill her. He's just tormenting her because he knows she's afraid.
Yeah.
And you can feel the tension. And she looks so terrified in that and like uncomfortable. And he like raises up the horn and she's like, please don't. And he starts honking it and she like tenses up and she's so terrified. And I was like, she's a good actor. I think she did a very good job.
And going on to Art, what is the actor's name?
David Howard Thornton.
He does he's awesome. He's
He's
awesome.
such-
In this movie, Art's really funny.
Yes.
He's funny in the second one, and he's okay in the first one, but he's really funny in this one, I think.
It's
I just wanted to
exaggerated
put that up there.
manners.
Yeah, it's awesome, and he has a thing about like funny glasses. Because
Yeah.
that was the thing in the last movie, and I think something similar. I think in the first movie they put some glasses on him or something, and like try to take a selfie
I
with
think
him.
they put a hat on him.
Something like that. Yeah, but he's got a trend with glasses in it. I like it.
Yeah, and then at the beginning sequence, he murders a family and 2 children.
I was gonna say there is child death in this movie.
A lot.
And
A-
you
a
see
lot
it.
of it, yeah.
You see it.
You see it.
Yeah.
The first kill in the movie is him killing like a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
With an axe.
That scene is off screen. Like the kill is off screen.
But
We
you
see it-
can hear
You can
it.
hear it,
And you see the after product.
and then you see the aftermath, and then that's the point where I was like, okay, so not even Terrifier is going to do child death and show it.
Oh,
But then
boy.
later on in the movie, you see it happen, and you're like,
like-
okay, I was wrong. I was very wrong.
Yeah, I noticed Art has a compared to the other movies, he really likes to chop up bodies in this one.
He is
because
Yes, that's
because
not where I thought you
that
were going.
family he killed in the beginning, he killed them all the same way. He just chopped them up into bits. Little girl, we never saw her die, but I'm gonna assume she's dead
Yeah.
because he saw her in the cupboard and he waved at her.
Well, the way that I thought that I saw it, and I'm probably wrong, but I thought that little girl was the little girl in the rest of the movie, Sienna's like niece.
Gabby?
I thought
Gabby.
it was
I thought it was
Sienna.
Gabby. I thought it was Gabby. That's understandable, but you didn't see
That's
the
like
other
I figured
movies.
that's why she was in the
no
hospital or
No.
whatever.
No,
Sienna doesn't know about Art until the second movie, and she's like 5 years younger than what she was in this movie. So,
yeah.
but I thought it was Gabby. But you're probably right. That little girl is probably not alive.
But I thought it was funny after he killed the family, he just ate the milk and cookies and then he washed the plate off and just put it in
Such
the
a distinguished
the drying
gentleman.
rack.
So generous.
He's a villain, but he has standards.
He's
Also,
like, I'm not
like,
going to
I'm
leave this
not-
place in a mess.
I'm
like,
not sure what Art's demographic is as far as who he kills, because
Where does he draw the line?
something else that I did not like or didn't understand was the house that they did the whole sequence where Art was up in the attic and Vicky was in the bathroom, and then they just stayed there for 5 years, was it, or something like that? I didn't understand that. And then while the two guys were in the house, what were they doing? They're like contractors. Or
they
whatever?
were demolition
Okay, yeah.
inspectors, so they had to go inspect it and make sure that it
Yeah.
was up to code for, I guess, demolition. I
So
don't know how it
one of the
works,
dudes was like, "This house is really creepy," and then the other guy was like, "Yeah, like 15 or so children have been murdered in this house." And I was like, "Was that Art? Was that something we didn't like? Is this the first time we're hearing about that? Did he just make it up? I didn't understand."
Yeah.
So that's why I say I don't know what Art's demographic is, because he just seems to kill not everyone, but like everyone. You know what I mean?
My guess with the whole them sitting there was, I have a feeling that so Art can heal, like
Yeah.
he really can't die, and he can heal, but I feel like it's like a Michael Myers thing where it's not like instant; it takes a while.
Yeah.
And he got his head cut off, so that's
Sienna cut his head off. In the
my
second
guess
movie.
was they're probably sitting there just waiting to recuperate,
I guess.
fully heal up, because it doesn't really explain that. They just
But that doesn't make any sense that Vicky would like
She
slit her wrist and
slashed
then
her,
just
like, whole
just,
arm.
Like that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know
Yeah.
why that happened.
well, she's crazy, but I mean,
yeah, but what it just does.
There's got to
I don't
be a
know.
reason behind it.
because it doesn't ever go into detail. But I know, didn't you say they're making a fourth one?
Yes, the fourth one will probably be the last one.
You want to know the part I do hate? What do you do?
What did you hate about it?
When Vicky fucks herself with the shard of glass.
Yes.
When she flicked
Yeah.
her bean with the glass shard. Yeah,
Okay,
that
She
was-
was
there
more
is
than
a
flick
scene-
her bean.
There is a scene towards the beginning of the movie where the character Vicky, which is Art's conduit, she's like scraping her
pussy.
She's doing more than scraping.
she's like shoving a piece of glass up there, and she's
While
the
Art is
whole
like
thing.
ripping a dude's
Yeah.
face off,
Yeah.
and
and
then Art is like, "What the fuck?" Because he does like the whole finger shame thing. He's like,
Yeah.
The
'cause
way,
even-
the way that I saw that though is like he was giving into his like demented sexual desires, and he was like, "You shouldn't have given in," or something like that.
I don't know, because there were some scenes in it where he looks at Vicky like, "This bitch is fucking crazier than
did,
I am."
I did think that he was gonna kill Vicky
I thought he was really annoyed
until
by her.
until the end, where like it reveals that Vicky is her in a way, like he can speak through her.
It's like her microphone.
Yeah, but into the
thought it
kills.
was the other way around.
What do you mean?
I thought Vicky was the conduit and he was the demon.
He is.
Yes, he's using Vicky to speak.
Wait, no, I have that backwards.
No, you have
Yeah.
it right.
I
You have
thought-
it right.
Art is a demon. He cannot speak, but he's using Vicky as a conduit to speak for him and do his bidding.
Okay.
Kind of like a minion.
Yeah.
A helper.
I had it backwards. I thought he was the minion.
It's all right.
Like I said, these movies don't give really a lot of context clues about like things like that in like the finer details.
they
like
leave
why
a lot of questions.
Yeah, my thing about you talking about Art's demographic in terms of who he kills, because it's weird, because he'll see people on the street, he won't touch them, and then he'll just kill some random dude out of nowhere.
Also, getting into the kills as well. This is a good segue. In the other movies, Art doesn't kill in public. Like, he very deliberately secludes himself and his victims to do whatever he wants to do to them. But in this movie, he kills like 7 or 8 children in a mall with a bomb,
A pipe bomb,
and
bro.
he is posing as Santa, because it's a mall Santa that goes on lunch break, and then he comes back. Art comes back dressed as Santa, giving
covered,
out.
His Santa suit's also got covered in blood.
Yeah, giving out gifts to all these kids, and then he gets kicked out. And then this little boy opens a bomb and it explodes and it kills like 7 kids. It's
Dude,
fucking
You see a close-up
that-
shot of a dead child's face that's blown off.
yeah.
Yeah, I was.
It's
the
brutal.
face I made
It
when
is
I
brutal.
saw that, I was.
Like, you see the innards of the skull.
Yeah, I was like,
it's
holy shit!
it is
It was. Ooh,
yeah.
I think
Don't
there was some
eat
creative
or drink.
I
while
think there was
watching
some
the movie.
creative kills in the movie. Like,
So what was the first kill? It was the
little boy with the axe,
and then the father in the bed.
Which was also...
he was asleep. Dude.
He was asleep.
She
But
chopped him once, and you hear his grunt go.
And he, like, gurgles on blood.
So the mom and the dad are sleeping, and Art quietly walks into their room and then goes to the dad's side of the bed and then brings the axe. He's got a fire axe, I believe, and he brings it down on the dad.
Yeah.
The dad doesn't make it. He makes like Kaegan said, like
A pained groan.
and then that's it. He doesn't scream or anything. And then Art just keeps hacking away at him. And then the mom is still asleep and then wakes up like a couple minutes after,
Covered in blood.
covered in blood, and then realizes Art's there and then tries to get away. And then
I mean, she kind of puts up a fight for a bit.
little
but then
bit,
He
but-
eventually catches up.
And how did that one happen? I vaguely remember. I remember how it
He-
ends. I remember how she
he-
dies, but
Hit her in the back with the axe, and then
Yeah.
he hit her in the stomach.
Okay.
And then she like ran into the living room and fell to her knees, and he chopped off her arm.
yeah.
And then he just started hacking into her and chopped into the top of her head.
Yeah,
And that
okay. I
eventually
remember
killed
now.
her,
So
yeah.
those were the first few kills. And then was it the attic kills after that? No, it was the asylum. Back in the asylum?
Yeah,
right?
the asylum workers see Vicky giving birth to Art's head.
Yeah.
And then they're eating. That was in the end of the second movie.
Yeah, so that
Vicky
was like
gives
a-
birth to Art's head.
A bridging.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. I could see the confusion.
It's like, oh.
I don't know. But
Okay.
anyways,
It's like Warhammer lore.
yeah, you got to go back to the 80s just to
Yeah.
know what's going on.
The God Emperor would pulverize these demons. Like, would wink and they'd be non-existent.
Evaporate. But yeah, they catch the one male asylum like worker.
Also, that is a
Catches-
wrestler. I think it's Triple H.
Is it?
Yes.
But he catches them eating a lady's face, and then they attack Art and rip off his face.
Yeah,
Do a
don't they
lot
start
of
with
face
his
ripping
jaw?
off. Yeah, do a lot of face ripping off in this movie.
Yeah.
They really like to hammer the point that they don't deserve skin on their face.
Give me your face.
You don't deserve that face on your face.
Yeah. And then after that, I think it was the
The house
demolition
kills. Yeah,
demolition
the two
kills
guys.
where Vicky just stabs that dude in the neck.
One guy got it easy.
he just got a quick knife to the neck.
Yeah. and
No,
then-
I'd say the guy that got it easy was the bearded guy in the bar where he was shot in the head.
that's
It
true.
was quick and clean.
That's true.
Yeah.
But in terms of like
The
kills in
demolition
Terrifier
guys-
movies and the two, do you remember the two guys that we're talking about in the in the
demolition
house?
ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's two
They
guys.
got it easy.
One of them did comparatively. One guy
The black dude, he
got
he
stabbed
just
in
got
the
knifed
neck.
in the neck.
with a piece of glass, and,
And
then
then
that was it.
Vicky was continuously stabbing him after that.
That's
Oh, yeah.
a hell of a lot better than what
Getting
the
your
other guy
face
got.
ripped off while you're still alive.
And he also got a scalped with a box cutter.
That's true.
Like
yeah, he stabbed him through the hand
forehead.
with a nail, I think, or a
Yeah.
screwdriver. And
there
then
was
he just
a lot of religious commentary too.
Yeah.
and then he just cut open his head with the box cutter and then ripped his face off.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So he stabs him in the forehead with the box cutter, and then goes all the way back to the back of his head.
The guy's
and then,
like, "Aw."
and then grabs his fucking Ooh, grabs the skin on both sides and then peels it open. That like
Peels it open like a banana. It was
damn.
damn.
And then the next one, I'm trying to remember because we did see this movie a couple of nights ago.
You saw it on Thursday.
Yeah, the day that came.
I think it was the bar kills next, wasn't it?
Let's say it was. If we remember any others, we'll come back. But there were like 3 guys at the bar, right?
3 guys. One of them's dressed as Santa, where he gets his Santa costume, and they're doing all fine. You know, the Santa guy, he's starting to dig Art's vibe. He's like, okay, you're funny. I like that. The other 2 guys are like, I don't know. This guy's
there's
kind
the
of
bartender.
creepy.
The bartender is kind of iffy. He's like, I don't know about this guy. And then there's another guy
He's just kind of a yes
bystander.
man. He's like, yeah, you tell him, boss. Yeah.
He's also the same actor that plays in. Is it called The Ice Cream Man?
I think
Is
so.
that what the horror
I think-
movie's called?
I
It's
think
an old horror movie, and his famous line is,
It's grenadine for
Yeah.
my ice cream treats.
I don't remember the movie, but it's the same actor.
Because in that one, he kills a dude, and then in the ice cream truck, and then he opens the door, and a lady asks, "What's that on your face?" And he like goes, "It's grenadine for my ice cream treats." And
Was
he
it
like,
blood?
It was blood
Yeah.
that he just sucked off his finger.
Oh,
So that was kind of cool. It was kind of neat that he made it in there. But
Yeah,
little cameo.
So that bystander, the guy that we were just talking about, that's played by the old horror movie actor, he gets shot in the head,
Which
by
is the
Art
most civil
Yeah.
kill
His
in
name
this
is
movie.
Clint Howard.
Clint Howard.
And he's been in a bunch of other movies too, but that's like his iconic like horror movie characters, the ice cream guy.
And to preface, Art's thing is like he's always prepared with a bag of
Goodies.
which he has like a trash bag full of sharp objects. And
That's a sturdy fucking trash bag. That's all I gotta say.
Probably
Yeah.
hefty.
My thing is like, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it.
But back to the bar scene. First guy gets shot in the head, and
He
then
gets-
the second guy.
No, he shoots him in the throat.
does he?
Yeah,
The first
he shoots
guy
the-
gets shot in the throat. That's the bartender.
He shoots
Okay.
the bartender in the throat,
Okay.
and then the second guy shoots in the face.
Okay.
And
It's
then he
like
ties
a
up the Santa Claus guy.
Okay, and then
And he created like his own little fucking cryolator, like from Fallout 4. And he just like freezes the dude's hand and foot, and the dude's like pleading for his life, just begging and crying. And he just takes a brick hammer and just starts smashing his leg, and it just
so he
crumbles
starts.
and-
So Art sprays his the dude's legs and his
liquid
arms
nitrogen.
with liquid nitrogen, and then after that he gets like a mallet and then breaks apart his limbs, and it's pretty brutal.
and then he sprays his face and breaks apart his face. And then he shoves a carrot where his nose was.
Yep.
And
Dude's still
leaves
alive
him
too.
Still
Yep.
alive. I'm sure he bled out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and he took his like lower half of his face for his beard.
yeah, he ripped off his beard, and
Yeah.
that was his face.
I wonder what the police department was thinking when they came across these crime scenes.
That's a very good question, Ethan.
All I
be
gotta
like,
say is these
holy
cops do a shitty job. If like they haven't, they're like, okay, someone is mutilating people.
I'd
What
be
the
like,
fuck is going
this
on?
is out of our hands. We got to call in the fucking Marines. We need to hunt this bastard
Still
down.
wouldn't be able to get him, dude.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think an A10 warthog would pulverize these.
See, aren't
dudes.
you after seeing that your first Terrifier movie? Aren't you glad you killed him with a
500 kg in slasher
Helldivers?
skirmish.
My
Yeah.
life for super.
I was talking to Kaegan about that earlier. You are probably very, very happy that you were able to take that guy out, because I would not. Out of any horror movie icon, I would not want to be killed by Art. Like that is.
Yeah.
Because Art's gonna make it as
He's gonna
painful
make- he's gonna
as possible.
suck.
He's gonna
Suffer.
take his time, dude, and
And the entire time he takes his time, he's just gonna mock you and like laugh at
Yep.
you and point and go like,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I do think it's funny whenever Art gets hurt, he just does the silent scream like Jake in Adventure Time. He's just like,
Look,
like in Terrifier 2, Jonathan hits him with like this chair leg that had a bunch of nails and stuff in it that Art made, and he screams, but he just kind of lets out like a
yeah,
like a silent scream. He's just like,
yeah. That is pretty funny. So after the bar, what happened? What's the next kill after? The bar?
I think it was the mall.
Was it the mall?
Yeah,
okay,
I think it was the
and
mall.
He only that was the kids
Where he
in the
killed all
mall,
the children.
and then that was the only kill there, right? Those were the only kills there, and then it went
After that
to-
was the shower.
was it the shower after?
I think
okay,
it was
so
the shower scene.
so there were a couple of so before we get to that one, I want to save that one because it is the worst
No.
in terms of gore. But I want to go to the end of the movie with the mom.
Oh,
Oh, the mom who got the.
Yeah. So
that had to have been a medieval torture we covered.
yeah,
It was no,
it was.
It was
Yeah.
just a bit more
The
brutal.
rat trap.
So Kagan,
Or
you want
whatever.
to talk about what happens to the mom?
So essentially, the mom of Gabby, who is Siena's cousin.
Is it cousin? Or,
I thought
her
it was
cousin.
sister.
okay.
No, it's her cousin.
Okay.
And they're like thick as thieves. And Sienna is knocked out by Art because she wakes up and hears like Vicky mimicking her voice, telling, like, as mimicking as her uncle and aunt talking to each other, making
about-
it so like they should get rid of her and smother her.
Yeah.
And then Sienna finds out it's Vicky, and then Art like grabs her and knocks her out.
Yeah.
And she wakes up tied to a chair across from her aunt, who's I think his name is Jen.
I don't remember.
And how they kill the mom, they take this glass tube that's probably like
It's like a decorative glass tube.
it's like a
Yeah.
it's a decent
It's a good
tube.
size. Yeah.
They essentially it's bigger than what your mouth can fit. They put it in her mouth part of the way, and then they hammer it down so it goes even further. And you watch as the sides of the skin of her mouth like splits open
Yep.
to accommodate for the pipe. And then once it's far enough, they put rats in the tube and then heat
No,
up the
you
end.
forget to mention that she
like-
vomits. She
Yeah.
chokes up vomit.
Yeah, she
and
chokes up
as
vomit
she
and
chokes
blood.
up, she's bleeding profusely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they put rats in this tube and then heat up the end so the rats go down her throat.
Yep.
And they do it like 2 or 3 times, and then they slit her throat open and the rats come crawling out. And then Art just fucking starts stepping on the rats. It's like,
Yeah.
why would you do that to the rats?
I don't know if I've talked about
that's
this.
also how you find out Jonathan died, because they
That's true.
unwrap it and it's this cage with a skull in it with flesh that they tell Sienna is Gabby, so Gabby starts freaking out. And it's a skull that's like missing most of its flesh and rats are eating on it, so they take the rats out of that cage and put them in the mom. And then they were like, "Hey, surprise, that wasn't Gabby."
Jonathan.
And then Art put the head on the mantelpiece, put the glasses on, and she was like, "I told you it wasn't Gabby," and it was Jonathan. And I was like, "Man, that's a lame way to reveal that they killed him."
Yeah, it sucked that they did it off screen, dude. But my favorite line in that movie is during that exact scene where they're about to kill Gabby, and then Gabby's like, "I haven't even opened my Christmas gifts," and then Vicky just takes a second and she's like, "Well, that's not fair."
There's
And then-
some compassion in there somewhere.
Yeah, and then lets it open
they're
again.
about to kill her, and she's like,
Yeah.
"I didn't even get to open my gift," and she was like, "Well, that's not fair.
Well, that's not fair.
Well, that's not fair."
But yeah, I wanted to go over that death. I think we covered all of them except for the bathroom.
Well, the uncle too.
But that was
the
also
uncle
off
was killed,
screen.
but it was off screen. But when
Yeah.
they find the uncle, his head is gone. It's actually the tree topper for the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And his body's like
Crucified
crucified.
on
His
the
body's
wall.
crucified to the wall. Like Ethan said, a lot of Christian like and
religious commentary.
imagery.
And yeah.
Another thing I was talking about with the religious commentary is when she has that dream where she's in like hell, and that statue of Saint Mary is holding back that demon with the
That's
chain,
welding the
well,
sword.
it's like forging
Yeah,
the
forging the
armor
sword.
and stuff. So I think this is my theory for how the fourth one's going to go. She's going to find a way to go to hell. And she's going to find that demon. And
Maybe
he's
they're
going-
already making armor for Gabby, and she's gonna be like a little hell warrior.
She's gonna be like Doomslayer.
Yeah.
But
Where the
I
fuck
feel
is
like what's
Sienna?
going to happen is she's going to go on a Doomslayer route. Sienna is, and she's going to find a way to get to hell, maybe from some like book or something, or maybe I guarantee you her dad's going to have some shit about it that she's going to find.
I will say I loved every scene with her dad. Like,
Yeah.
they were very sweet.
Yeah.
Except for the last one where he starts yelling, but like
He never yelled. He just starts having a schizophrenic breakdown,
that.
and he doesn't give her the drawing. He's just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, Dad,
I
Daddy, what are you doing?
I did really like those scenes though, because the dad did a good job. Like,
Yeah.
whoever is the actor, he did a good job. I like those scenes.
Yeah, it showed. I mean, he really cared for Sienna, and he was just he was really trying to make her happy. But you could tell that something was up with him in terms of his brain wasn't all there. But I think that Sienna's going to go to hell, and she's going to meet that dude, and he's going to give her the actual armor,
Yeah.
and maybe give her an actual sword, like the actual
I don't know if
special
there's
sword.
What do you mean the actual special sword?
I
She
have a
already had
feeling.
it.
Well, I have a feeling this sword is not the real one. Because remember, in the drawing, he was a flaming sword.
So yeah, maybe it'll be on
Or
fire
maybe
in
she
hell.
doesn't know how to completely wield it to its full potential.
Maybe. Or it's going to reveal that sword, because the dad is the one that gave her the sword, but it doesn't say where he got the sword from. So maybe it's going to reveal that he somehow got his hands on a
It's an
demonic...
angel. I don't know.
I swear, she's got some like divine lineage.
She's a fucking paladin.
She's got relations to some angel
Yeah.
or something.
And then they're going to kill Art once and for all, because they said if they make a fourth one, it's going to be the last one. Because after that, I think David Howard Thornton said he's done playing Art. Which
Yeah.
is a shame, because he does a really good job.
Well, Damien Leone said that he didn't want to overstay his welcome with the Terrifier franchise, which is completely
I wish some
understandable.
horror movie slashers would have got that fucking memo.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street,
So, boys-
Jason.
Yeah.
How about we talk about that bathroom scene?
Oh,
I
the
don't want
bathroom
to.
scene.
I don't want to.
Okay, so I like this scene. There's a specific part in this scene that made me like. I was like,
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys saw me
Making
whenever.
sausage.
I don't know if you guys saw me whenever that scene happened. I'll tell you in a second. But I was like, I like jumped in my seat. I was like, God damn it! I was like, fuck.
Essentially, Mia, the podcast girl, is fucking her boyfriend in the
I
shower.
mean, they're making a nice steamy meat flesh storm in the shower.
Yeah. Dude, she's got such a rockin' body.
She
and
does.
Let's move on.
It's relevant to the plot, okay? They're in the shower, and it shows a lot of nudity. I'd say nudity, but you don't really see anything. It's more just side shots.
Yeah.
And not even when I say she's got a rockin' body, not even like just in terms of that. She's also just very fit. Like she has like abs, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, I wish I had abs. But they're just going to town on each other. They're just sucking some face, like going crazy. And then Art is using the urinal across the room, taking a piss, and you see him like do the whole, give it a couple good
He
shakes.
shakes his
He
leg.
does the
shakes
whole
for good luck.
Shakes his leg, and then he goes over to his bag and pulls out a chainsaw. It's his bag of holding, like in D&D. It's his fucking bag of holding. It holds everything. He pulls out the chainsaw and starts revving it, and the Mia hears it. She's like, "Huh?" And then you just silence, and then he busts through the glass with the chainsaw and starts.
He starts going to town, dude. Like this scene is bad. It
He
is
cuts
bad.
off the boyfriend's like two bottom
Yeah,
fingers.
so the boyfriend, his hand comes up to try to.
I think his name was Zach.
I think it was too. He tries to shield Mia from the chainsaw, and he gets like
Two of his
fingers cut off, and then he tries wrestling with Art for a second, and
And he
then
hacks into his leg.
hacks into his leg. He didn't he didn't cut it off entirely. So there's a later scene, like a few minutes after what we're talking about now, where Zach tries to walk away,
and his leg snaps under the pressure. It like bends at a 90-degree
and
angle.
he falls on it, and it is oh my god,
And
oh
all
my
while-
god.
all
Hear
while
it
he's screaming and
crunch.
crying, Art's just going to town on Mia, just hacking at
Yeah,
her,
it's pretty bad.
cutting up her.
He splits
face.
her breasts in
Yep.
half.
Yep.
Did
like,
he?
Yes,
Like
yes.
horizontally.
I couldn't
Yeah.
tell that's what that was.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just hacking at her, and then she's over there still alive, but hacked up. And then he puts his little Christmas tree glasses on her face and boops her nose.
She definitely bleeds out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't done with Zach. He goes over to Zach, and then he proceeds to split Zach down the middle from ass to head.
He
Dude.
guts him from armpit to
Oh my
asshole.
God.
Well-
and he starts at the asshole.
He grabs his leg and it's still attached by
Oh
a
yeah, and he
tendon.
starts
yeah.
pulling
He
him.
pulls him and it breaks off.
And then he
and he's
sniffs
like,
it.
ew.
He sniffs it and throws. He's like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's
Throws
what's
it.
disgusting.
And then he sticks the chainsaw while it's running in Zach's ass and pulls up, and it cuts the skin from where his asshole meets to the top of his back, and it splits open, and it was very gross.
Yeah.
And then
He does snow angels in his blood.
Zach is like,
Ugh.
screaming, crying,
Yeah.
pissing, shitting, probably. And then
I don't think he can do that anymore.
And then
Yeah.
he flips him over, and he starts going to town on the front side of his balls. And you see the chainsaw blades going between his nuts, and you see his dick flopping around.
Yeah,
and then he just starts sawing him down the middle. And then after he saws him down the middle, he starts fucking hacking at his face with the chainsaw. And I looked at Jake and I said, he does the Emperor proud. He knows how to wield a chainsword.
Your work is not done, brother.
I said, your work is not done, brother. and he cuts him in half, and then he goes over there and just starts making snow angels in his blood.
This was the worst scene of the movie, and it rivals a scene in the second movie that was unmatched.
I still think about that one. That one fucks me up.
I don't know. We'll spare you the details. I think we've said enough about that.
Yeah, I can't.
Ethan, you'll have to watch it. We'll have to show you later.
I'm good.
That one makes me uncomfortable though, because it's so
These movies make me
mean.
squeamish, and not a lot of movies do that, dude.
Okay, Jake and Kaegan warned me prior to going to see this movie that there is immense gore.
I said, "Buckle up, baby. You ain't ready for this." And he said, "I got an iron stomach,"
And I
was like,
stated,
I hope
gore doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong.
I looked over at him several times, and he was just looking, and like there was one point where he was covering his eyes. I think.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, I was
looking
like,
through his
"Dude."
eyes, like,
I was like, what? It's like that Shia LaBeouf meme. He's like, what do you want? Like, this is what you wanted.
this is it. You're in the middle of it.
that
Yeah,
part
you're
in
yeah, this is it. You're in the
that part
middle
in
of it.
Monsters Inc. where he's watching the shit get compacted, and he's like,
Sully.
and then he
Yeah.
like faints, and then
Yeah.
he gets back up and he sees it. Like,
These movies definitely are not for the faint of heart, dude.
No.
Like, they are famous for having people faint in the middle of them, throw up, like walk
Now,
out.
I will
mean,
attest that while it was gross, I did not feel like I was going to vomit or pass out.
I did not either.
I was just like,
It made me wince. It made me squirm a little bit.
but I think part of that is also knowing that it's not real. It's practical
Well, yeah.
effects.
Now,
They-
if it was like 3D or like 4D or something, like if you could feel it or smell it,
if you could
then
feel it,
I would.
not want
if
to
I
do
just
that.
mean like
if I
water,
could
like
s-
warm
if
water.
I could
or
smell
something.
if I could smell the fucking stench of roasted balls and dick from chainsaw smoke, yeah, I'd get a little queasy probably.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, like I was hit with a breath attack from Skyrim. I just do like,
we will probably have to make a disclaimer for this episode because we do
Yeah.
get pretty in-depth and too graphic content. So
that's fine. We
Yeah.
let them come, but
who?
let them
Very
come.
poor choice of words.
Let them come.
True. Oh my god.
Who's gonna nut to this?
Who's gonna?
Fucking psychopath.
All right,
That's it.
you're on my beat list.
But this movie, I definitely feel like this movie went more towards shock factor than anything else compared to the. I feel like they essentially went, how bad can we get?
Oh, for sure. That's like the
But also
antithesis of these movies.
I saw this one thing on Google. I was getting on Google for my daily crank sesh. I'm kidding.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, I am
no,
kidding.
You're not.
No, I am kidding. But I was
Okay.
on Google because I was looking up something for medieval collectibles for the Renaissance Fair coming up, and I saw this article talking about how Damien Leone got his inspiration for scenes, and he said they'd be doing the scene, and then he'd say stop, and he'd come over to David, and he'd be like, "I'm feeling the magic right now. Like this is keep going with this.
We got something.
It's good." And
Yeah.
it's like, what a twisted little man you are. That is
What a fella.
I wonder what goes on in his head.
yeah, what a weird thing to say.
Yeah. I think it was like banned in some
I
countries.
think Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Which
would be
only
banning
boosts
the movie too.
its publicity. So I mean,
Well, I say
hey,
that.
more power to him.
Yeah, this movie was intense. The practical effects are awesome. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're great.
You can tell they're fake, obviously.
They're still. I mean,
It's
but
still
they're
good.
good.
Still, like,
They do a very good job.
this is gonna be weird, but every time I saw a gore scene, I got the taste of spaghetti sauce in my mouth.
That's,
I mean, that's kind of what it reminds me of because the blood is like.
It's like
it's
an orange
lighter.
red.
yeah. It's
And I'm sure they use a shit ton of like for practical effects, practical blood. I'm sure they use a lot,
A
gallons
lot.
of it.
but even
Enough to make a snow angel in it.
even
True.
David Howard Thornton got like sick during the scene. He had to
Yeah.
stop. But I feel like it would be fun to be a horror movie slasher, like as an actor, to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it'd be fun to be an actor that does like horror movie things
Now,
or action things.
If you're like a method actor, that's pushing.
You might
like,
get too into it.
That might be my problem. But
because like Jim Carrey does method acting, and he doesn't go out of character the whole time he's on set, and it drives people nuts.
Yeah.
Apparently,
yeah, I'm pretty sure Jared Leto's like that too.
yeah. Heath Ledger was like that, and
Isn't Joaquin Phoenix like that too?
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember. Jared Leto, whenever he did the Joker for Suicide Squad, the bad one,
Yeah.
he would like send his castmates dead animals.
And use condoms.
Yep.
See, that's weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Why
I
would
agree.
you do that?
I would have fired him. I would have been like, you
Like,
need to
dude,
leave.
What the hell?
This is not method acting.
Like,
this
I get
is
you're
terrorism.
a method actor, but
Right?
I'd be like, I get you're a method actor, but you need to get the fuck out
That's
right
like
now. You
borderline biological warfare.
have my cum balloon, you cretin. Look, if you send someone a used condom, I'm going to throw hands with you. That is just
Yeah, I'd make you wear it.
put it on. You're wearing it.
What's wrong?
I'd parade you around the set wearing the condom, and then if you didn't, I'd beat your ass because that's disgusting. Jared Leto, fuck you. I hate you.
He's like a cult leader too.
Yeah, he is. Are you all right, Jake?
I am
I'm gonna
not.
parade you around.
The set and beat your ass because that's
Dude, that just reminds me that like actors that have to do sex scenes most of the time they just they wear a sock over their boner. It's like the funniest image.
like when you
it's
leave a sock on the
funny.
door. Do not disturb.
Yeah, but it's like on their knocker instead.
Do you think they put it around the balls too?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
think they
Full
have
coverage.
like a whole like
no
kinda
liability, just
like
coverage.
underwear kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
I
Where it's
wouldn't
like a
be
CGI
surprised if
thing.
they had like a prosthetic that kind of a cup thing that kind
Yeah.
of covers it. Because
Oh,
most of the time in those sex scenes, all you really see is titty. You don't see full on like penetration.
Penetration.
In Midsummer, the full frontal scene with the actor that plays whatever his name was, Danny's boyfriend. I'm pretty sure no, it wasn't him. Never mind. That was actually his penis. That was actually it. But I'm thinking about another actor. I think it's Bill Skarsgård's brother in the movie. I think it's called Infinity Pool, where he has like a sex scene or something. He has a prosthetic. He has prosthetic
Peener.
genitals. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know I don't remember the
It
reason.
wasn't big enough.
Does
Didn't
it
meet the
maybe
standard.
just
I
have a
don't
small
know.
cock or something?
I don't know.
Is it Alexander Skarsgård?
No, maybe.
The one that played in The Northman? Or is it a different one? A different
It
Skarsgård?
actually might be Alex Skarsgård.
Because there's like, what, 3 Skarsgårds?
Yeah, there's the dad and then the 2 sons, I think.
Yeah.
The dad is a great actor. He was in Andor. He was a good one.
It is Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, Alexander.
I don't know who the dad is.
That's a good movie though.
I'm sure you do.
Stellan
He
Skarsgård?
was in
I think
Avengers.
his name's Stellan Skarsgård. Yeah, he was. He was the crazy guy.
The one
In
that was
Thor: The
running
Dark
around
World. He's in that
naked.
one. The most.
Oh, yeah, him?
Yeah.
He's a Skarsgård?
Yeah.
That's what. I think
He's
we should get
dad.
back to the main
Yeah.
topic.
He also plays what, I don't even know his name. I liked the Dune movies, but I can't remember what the guy's name was. He plays like the Emperor or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead on the mouth.
Just
My Rockies. My desert.
I'm going to defend those movies. They're not bad.
I'm not.
I don't
They
love
suck.
them. I
They're
don't love them, but
boring.
they're okay.
I hate Dune.
What?
I
You
can't-
don't like your Spice Odyssey?
No.
That's what it's about. It's fucking spices.
Spice Odyssey.
Yes.
I can't get into it.
I don't like Star Wars on drugs.
That's okay.
It's like Star Wars, but worse.
Yeah. Rebel Moon, but worse.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. I think Star Trek is mid too, but that's just my opinion.
That's neither here nor there.
I can understand why you say that. I like Star Trek, but
Well, I know. You say you have the box set over there. I
The
can
Next
see it.
Generation, by far the best show out
But
there.
back to the main topic, because we were getting off topic. I think this movie was good
It was okay.
in a sense, not in terms of plot or anything. I think it was good with practical effects, and I think the actors did a good job conveying fear, and that it felt like they were actually in danger sometimes.
Yeah.
Art did a great job because he does a good job in all 3 of the movies.
I do also feel like Kaegan and I's perspective are much different from yours because 1, you haven't seen the other movies, and 2, I don't think you're into the same movies as us in terms of like horror.
We like horror, and like we're both very into practical effects and
Yeah.
all that. So when I say good, I don't mean from like a plot standpoint.
Yeah, God no.
No,
Yeah.
if we're going for a plot, these movies are not it. If I wanted to watch a movie with plot, I'd watch Lord of the Rings. But like
wouldn't.
Exactly.
or Star or like the good Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
But I don't watch these ones for the story. It's like watching Transformers. I don't watch Transformers for the humans. I watch them to beat robots. Beat the shit out of each
Big
other.
Transformers.
robot.
Yeah. Same
Big
with like
robot.
same with like Godzilla. I don't watch Godzilla for the plot.
Big
I like
monster.
I like seeing big monster fight big monster.
Yeah.
That's it.
Why is there humans in my monster movie?
Yeah, triggers neuron
for
activation.
budget. That's why.
I like art watching. I like watching art kill people because it's creative.
It's fun.
Well, it's also like I like these horror movies because it's like, what creative kills are they going to come up with? Because there's some creative shit.
I think of the Zombieland kills. Kill of the week or whatever, like a giant piano falls on a horde or
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah. Because some horror movies just have lame kills where like a person just gets stabbed and they die. No,
Yeah.
art. I'm gonna rip your face off.
I'm going to rip your face off, wear it, and then feed it to you.
Yeah,
And then fuck you.
yeah. Well, not
And
that
then eat
one.
that too.
Art
I
doesn't do
mean-
fucking. I think he's celibate.
Is he?
There was a scene, there was a scene and a line in the movie where Mia is talking about, no, Zach, Mia's boyfriend, is like, you just want to fuck him, right? Talking about Art. And then she's like, no, I don't want to fuck him. And Art's around the corner and he's like,
Aw.
why not?
No, it was more like he went like, like I don't care about that, like
Oh.
I think it was more,
because he heard it and he was like, and then he
Ew.
just kind of did like, meh.
no, he heard it. Remember, he heard it. He was like he raised an eyebrow and then she said, no, not to fuck him. And then he went, he was like, oh, fine.
She did say, I want to
Yeah.
like what he smells like, and he like sniffs himself and he's like, mm.
Oh, that's another thing too. Like whenever Art kills Mia,
He's oddly human.
yeah. But when Art kills Mia, previously in the movie, she's like, I wanna know what it's like to look into his eyes. And then when he kills her, he looks into her eyes,
And
But
he's like,
yeah. Dude, he has this fucking. This is the last thing I want to talk
Stare.
about, but he has this stare. Art has this. You know what I'm talking about? He's
Yeah.
got this stare that's just like soul penetrating, dude.
yeah. His pupils and like eye color
Yeah.
doesn't help.
Yeah, he didn't. He just has like white eyes with like black dots,
Yeah.
like a Rick and Morty
They're like
character.
very, very tiny.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
like, ah.
But boys, I think that'll do it for this Yappetizer.
Overall, I rate it an 8 out of 5.
I'm gonna drop my rating
8
down
out of
to
5?
7.
8 out of 8. An 8. I'll be generous. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Just give it a 7.
Because it was-
I'd say 7.
It was
yeah.
decent, but I still think 2 is way better
Me too.
in terms of like not story, but just in terms of I enjoyed watching it more.
If there is an audience out there that wants to hear more from us about Terrifier, we would love to talk about it, Kaegan and I.
Yeah,
so
we love these movies.
Let us know.
I will say there's such thing as too much gore. Like I think this movie was on the verge. Like it was good, but it's also like after a certain point
You
you're like,
start to think like maybe the director has some.
issues
Yeah.
that he might want to discuss because it's like
You know what's even worse though? He knows there's a demographic.
Uh-huh.
that
yeah, because
wants
there's
to see
people
it.
that are into like the gore porn and torture porn and whatnot. That's what it's called. It's not literal porn. Just they get that satisfaction of seeing like gore and torture.
They
And
need help.
I've been desensitized to gore thanks to Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Twitter will
You think Terrifier 3 is bad? Just go to Twitter.
these movies ain't shit, man.
Yeah.
Overall, 7.5. I
Agreed.
think that'll do it for this episode, though, guys. What do y'all think? Y'all have
I
any?
agree. What was that?
It looked like
We're done!
It looked like something disconnected.